Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Angie, and I am going to be giving you a full rundown of what to expect from today's video. So, number one, I'm going to give you some updates, some of the things that I've been up to, what I've been doing, what's been going on, and then we're going to dive into today's main topic, which is going to be talking about how there can be some negative aspects when it comes to continuous improvement, self-development, and the things that I've been working with and the emotions I've been feeling while trying to navigate that topic online. If you're always trying to move the goalpost, if you're always trying to stay locked in, then, are you giving yourself space to breathe, to relax, to look inward? And then also, in the same vein, a lot of these suggestions and tips: drink water, exercise, make your bed. Those are all things that just seem to be so common and generic, and things that everybody is saying to do, and they're posting and they're doing these routines and they're saying to do. And it's just I don't know. Sometimes I just want to lounge around and be a potato. So I want to talk about some of those things, but first, let me hit you with some of the life updates. It's been a few weeks since I posted, and it's just been a whirlwind. Number one, my husband and I, Horton, we went to Syracuse, and it was just for work-related reasons, and then I ended up getting sick and taking a whole week off of nothing. I did nothing. I Woobled. If you don't know what Woobles are, I'll show you my little crochet kit, but they're a very cute little stuffed toy, and I treated myself to that as a new craft to try. I'm kind of a collector of crafts, a collector of hobbies, and some of those stick, like dance class stuck, and I'm maybe 5 years into my dance journey. Who knows? I'm starting to crochet a scarf, and because I want Ivy to have a scarf, she's starting to get older, that she can have one, and it's not a safety hazard or anything like that. So yeah, that's fun. So we have the Wooble. And then, of course, just my schedule being thrown off. I had really, really wanted to be able to film and edit a week in the life video, and just it wasn't feeling right. I wasn't connected with that topic at that time because I wasn't feeling well, and I was out of routine and feeling a bit in a rut, and and also sick. So not being able to exercise, not in my home. And I just really thought that, okay, this is really time for me to just sit and be. And I only did that for a few days. Because I wanted to hype it up. I really sat and I was with my emotions. It was probably a 3 or 4 day hiatus, a half week. And then preparing for that travel threw me off by a few weeks in total. So yeah, when I came back the next day, immediately I went to an event, and it was one of my first photo shoot events with a group called Natural Creatives Club. And it's whether you're a model, a makeup artist, a photographer, a stylist, you contribute to funding the event and funding the space, and then everyone there benefits. You mutually benefit by being able to be surrounded by people who want to make beautiful and cool art together through photography. So it was my first one. I brought a few outfits. I really was just trying to be in the moment, also a bit overwhelmed by being in this new environment and with a lot of people, a lot of new faces, doing something that I don't normally do, which is to model. I have been in front of a camera many times before for dance, and it's rehearsed. This is not rehearsed. You're doing poses, you're taking direction, you have some creative autonomy, a lot of it. And that kind of makes me a little bit rigid and nervous, because they're like, okay, what ideas do you have for the shoot and stuff like that. Great experience. I would definitely do it again. I'm very, very excited. And then the next thing that I did was I had already registered for a Buzzsprout event. And Buzzsprout is the host that I use to host my podcast. A lot of the people who engage with me are normally through YouTube or through short form like Instagram, TikTok, even LinkedIn a little bit, and not so much on the podcast. I think that maybe it seems for me a little bit more of a one direction communication. It seems one directional. I think because there's not like a comment feed. And I know that you can write reviews for a podcast, but in my experience, I haven't really had a lot of chance to talk to people through podcasting. So it was nice to learn about people's techniques, some of their challenges, some of the things that I resonated with when it comes to your editing workflow, whether or not you script and what a detailed script versus an outline looks like for a podcast. And I met a lot of really cool and interesting people. There was someone who goes back and forth between California and Nashville because her client, she has her own podcast and has tried several before, but has been sticking to her one podcast for a while. And then it's called Off the Court. Her name is Paris. It's a sports podcast where she primarily focused on tennis. And she says that she has a client where she edits and she's the producer of a real estate podcast. So the realtor is based in Nashville. And I thought it was really cool to meet somebody who was representing a client at this event and kind of popping around. I got a shirt that said "Keep Podcasting," a lot of cute stickers. Now, Buzzsprout, just to elaborate a little bit more, I'm a little bit confused by it still. Like, you can directly upload a feed to Spotify or something like that. But if you want an episode or your podcast to be available on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, like all of the distribution outlets, then it's a lot easier to do it with a host. You pay for a little bit of real estate to be able to have that spot on the internet. And that would be the same thing with like paying a service like Buzzsprout. And there's a whole bunch. So I went to the Buzzsprout event. And then the day after that, I had an interview call with a program where I'm looking to become an event host and dance instructor, eventually a dance instructor. So I had 3 things lined up right after. I was like, thank God I was feeling well, like I had plans and I followed through with those plans. Struggling a little bit on the photo shoot with some pain, but, and just fatigue, especially because I wasn't wanting to like take anything energy or like anything that was going to get me through the night, like even caffeine, because it was so late. Okay, let me explain to you. This photo shoot took place from 10 p.m. to midnight. And yeah, I got home at like 1-ish, and this is fresh off the, well, not fresh off the plane. Like it was one day after returning. A few other life updates. When I was on the trip, I was such a fool. I lost 2 things that I love. Well, number one, it was a Switch. Now this time I was like, okay, I'm going to be traveling and I really kind of want this so I can pass some time. I'm going to be bored up there. Let's just kind of make sure we have all this entertainment for the flight. I had Kindle. I had crochet, my Wooble. I'll show you in a bit. I had crosswords. Obviously I had my books. And then I had the Switch and I brought all of my games, like a dum-dum, like all of the physical cartridges. As I thought maybe, Horton will want to play a game with me. He likes to play Ultimate, and we could play in the little mini Switch mode where you take the little tiny controllers. But I left it, I'm pretty sure I left it in the back pocket, and we had just arrived so late that, you take a quick glance and you open the backseat pocket in the plane and you see black on black. It's like, I don't see anything. So I just feel like very terrible about this. I mean, we got it years ago. I have an old video. Don't watch it. It's gross. It's so, it's like embarrassing, very old and yellow, but that is just marking a timestamp of when I bought it. And now I've got all of these little artifacts. I've got the dock here. I've got little controllers, and I have this personal dilemma of, do I buy secondhand a Switch now, just so that we can be entertained and have a lot of family fun activities to do through the holidays while we're all kind of like huddled and gathered together? Or do I hold out and wait for Black Friday, which is not only in a few weeks from now, and then buy something at a discount? I've been reading some articles. Nintendo Switch doesn't do a lot, or Nintendo doesn't do tons of steep deals, and all the deals that are available are already kind of seen in the bundles that they offer At least that's what people are saying online. And then finally, there's supposed to be a new Switch coming out March. It's predicted Q1 or March 2025. And I can either get that one, like hold out and get that one and treat myself to something brand new, nice, shiny, because they haven't had one come out for years. And this is going to be faster, I think probably 4K. Or when that comes out, people who are trying to sell their old consoles, I might be able to get a better discount there. So there are like 4 options for me. I am overwhelmed. I'm an adult. I'm a mom. I don't need it, but I love the idea of kind of having access to that, to be able to stay warm, stay inside, and also stay active, because there's a lot of fun games like Wii Fitness, Wii Sports. We had the fitness one. There's Arms, which is a boxing game. Lots of cool things. Those are some things that we can do together as a family. And it really does kind of irritate me that I am so prone to losing things. Did I even get to say the second thing that I lost? We were at a hot pot and I left my water bottle and I was like so thirsty on the way home. I mean, of course there's water fountains, and they'll give you like a little cup, and if you need to, you can probably ask a flight attendant for more water. But I was just so irritated because I perfected that selection. Like, I was so proud. I try to be a conscious consumer. And you can see all of this anxiety and thought process of me with the 4 paths of a Switch purchase. And you should have seen me with the water bottle. And so I was trying to decide between the sizes and make sure that it would fit in normal standard water dispensers, that it wouldn't weigh too much, that the drinkability was very easy, and that it had a straw. Oh my God. Yeah. All right, so that's kind of the update. I want to show you my Wooble. I'll put in a little clip of it. It's really cute. I had held on to it for a while. I finally busted it out on this most recent trip with Horton and made tons of great progress. So much so that I needed to slow it down because I want Ivy to see me adding the final touches so that she can really see that a lot of love was put into it. It is kind of wonky. It's a little weird looking. It's not perfect, but not enough for me to unravel the damn thing. And I did Fred the dinosaur, and I would definitely do this again. I'm going to be keeping an eye out for Black Friday sales or any kind of sale on this kit. The yarn is great. The scarf that I started to do after being inspired by this activity and learning a couple basic stitches for crochet, which were incline stitch, decrease stitch, single stitch, and then those are the things that I learned with this Wooble kit. I finally did learn a double crochet, which is something I did on my own after building up a little bit of reps and confidence with crochet. Yeah, and the yarn that I bought and I finally dug out is very difficult to use. So I can totally understand what they're saying with Woobles. It's called easy peasy yarn, just beginner friendly. And it's because it doesn't fray and it is really easy to pick up. It's true, easy peasy. And yeah, I think if you're getting into it, I love the idea of a Wooble. It gives you a little critter. I love that there's tiny accessories that makes it way more fun. You can give them a backpack, a purse, a coat, and I think that's really adds to the fun of it. But once you get to the small size with their accessories, I think it's a little bit harder to discern what it is. It looks a little bit more like a blob because it gets so tiny. So I am interested in getting some accessories for Ivy, for me. Maybe if I really fall in love with one, I'm going to keep it. But she already saw it and was kind of excited. But I just need to sit with her and show how I'm going to add elements to Fred, the dinosaur. And then she can have it for her birthday, which is, oh my God, in a few weeks. My daughter's going to be 3. She's saying already some crazy, cute little things. Her latest phrases, number 1, she says, "Just a minute." She hears that from me, I bet. And then the second one, I don't say this. This must be a school thing. But she'll say, "Oh, it's adorable." She'll see something tiny and cute and she's like, "Oh, it's adorable." And I'm like, "Girl, you're 2. What are you talking about? What do you mean it's adorable?" Yeah, so that's the life update. I went to a few events. I did a photo shoot. I'm working on becoming a dance instructor part-time, just super part-time, a few times a month. And that's going to help me learn and build up my reps to be able to work towards being a dance instructor on my own and building out my own choreography, which I never, by the way, I wasn't really ever drawn to that. Like, I worry about my skills as a choreographer. So being a TA or an assistant is probably a really great space to be in. All right, so that was super, super chatty. If you stuck through all of that nonsense of my life update, thank you. And I wanted to just kind of jump into the main part of this. Like I said, I touched on it a little bit earlier, that I've been sitting on some really fun footage of me in the gym, of me, doing my thing and being I was just going to say like a strong ass bitch. Like I was being that girl, and just doing my thing and trying to be productive, cleaning and all of those things that we all aspire to be. And I had like a high of doing that and doing it really well. And of course, it doesn't make sense for that to be something that is a constant, like something that you never falter in. So we're going to get a little bit vulnerable here. I had been sitting on this footage. I talked to you about like the idea of productivity and how I wanted to document a week in my life, a productive week in my life, me getting my stuff together, me like resetting for the fall, for the, right now it's called your winter arc. And this idea that you are going to work in the shadows, you're going to come out of the winter as a renewed person who just is starting the new year 2025 like a baddie who's got her ish together. And I was really excited about a new season and an opportunity to elevate my life and to be productive and share that journey with you guys. And I had really great footage. Some of my friends at the gym were so kind and funny to see me document, and they were really chill about it, even though it sometimes made me a little bit feeling awkward. But I had some cool footage and cool moments of me organizing, working out, and really doing the damn thing. But I kept sitting on this footage, and I also traveled and I got sick and I was healing from that sickness and recovering. And then I had back-to-back events. But excuses aside, what it really was is that I wasn't resonating with that footage in this moment. I was excited to film it. And when I was editing, like just doing a rough cut, meaning that I had uploaded it and started to trim out some things, but not really ready to refine the footage and add any final touches to publish. And I had a lot of these cuts, and it didn't feel right because I was in a slump. Like, your life is going to be a roller coaster. You're going to have your highs and you're going to have your lows. I was in the middle of a low, editing a video of a high moment of life, and that disconnect was just making it so rough. And on top of that, I was tired, I was sick, and in the middle of traveling and a lot of stuff. I know people that you follow online, they'll share their excuses. They'll say like, oh, life happened. I couldn't post. I couldn't do this. But there's this extra layer for me where it wasn't just that life happened, but it was that I was editing footage of something that didn't feel genuine to me, because in that moment I felt like a fraud. I felt like I wasn't really sticking with the goals that I had set for myself and misrepresenting myself in some way. So it just wasn't sitting right. And then I kind of like allowed myself some space to recover, to go to those activities and those events I had already committed to, and then see what it would look like to come out the other side. And that is how I jotted down some notes here to share with you some of those challenges with constantly seeing productivity content online. Now, I do think there is a space for it in a healthy way, because it's inspirational, it's aspirational, it's because, we want to watch things that entertain us or motivate us or we resonate with, right? So those are the few things. By documenting this journey alongside with you guys, I would also become motivated. It's kind of like a cycle, a loop, because I would be able to declare that I am working on myself and I know that there are going to be flaws, document it, and then just through the nature of setting up a camera and needing to be dressed and showing proof that I am committed to what I'm doing, that it actually feeds positively back into my original goal, which is to be productive, to be stronger, fitter, happier, and healthier, and more organized. And then it just keeps cycling. And that was kind of the goal, and in a lot of ways still is. But what I'm learning right now, and will continue to learn, and is that I also need to make sure to share some of those slumps and those deeper feelings. Like, I've always been somebody who wants to be honest about difficult moments, but I think I really do feel like sharing it in this way is connecting me to you in it at a different level. And it's not just like, oh, life happens, never got sick. It's like, this is some real stuff. What I'm saying is that when I watch things online and everybody says, make your bed, go to sleep early, do your skincare, take care of yourself, drink water, eat healthy, do the damn thing. Like, I get it. And I'm not trying to talk down on people who continuously preach this mindset, because those are good things to share. Those are good things to advocate for. I just felt a little bit tired about that message, and I wasn't feeling connected with what I was setting myself up to share, especially the idea of the winter arc or moving in the shadows. Like, sometimes I want to feel like, yeah, I am that bitch. I am that baddie that is going to come out of the other end so strong, like, doing pistol squats and like pumping out 5 pull-ups, and nobody had any idea. So I'm really grappling with a few things, like recognizing that sometimes this constant message without nuance can be harmful to viewers. And it has been harmful to me. So I have not necessarily seen or witnessed people that I look up to online who are either dancers, athletes, productivity gurus, share or disclose some of those really painful moments where they feel like a fraud. They're just always constantly sharing tips. And in a lot of ways, those tips are the same. and it's okay. Like, the caveat to that is that there's always space for somebody to share a message, even if that message isn't new, but it reaches someone else. And that's why people can write new books, and it's still refreshing to see new releases of movies. This is all art. This might not feel like art, but hearing a message from somebody new in a new way is art in a way. The main thing that I wanted to share with you is this tension of the fact that I know that if you don't say this message without nuance, and people are so quick to think like, you really need to be on top of it, no excuses, team, no excuses. And then on the other hand, also seeing that the message felt the same and constantly there and just not really resonating with me in that moment, in that season of my life. So I don't know. There's not really an answer, and I wish I could put a pretty bow on it, but I want to kind of turn it back to you guys. Do you ever found yourself just sick and tired of listening to people talk about productivity? So on the other side of things, I do really get into these routines where I really enjoy waking up and listening to a podcast about productivity, mindfulness, mindset, something that's going to get me energized and excited about doing well and being better. And I like to listen to that type of thing, which is what motivated me to launch Level Up with Angie Lee, because I like to listen to it. And I felt like, again, that loop, if I talk about it and share my experiences with people, then I'm going to put myself in a position where I want to prove to myself that I am walking the walk, not just talking the talk. So I can do both. And just more and more, I'm learning that it really is unhealthy for someone to portray themselves, whether it's YouTube, podcast, Instagram, whatever it is, that is the constant. There is so much more depth to that experience than what you see on camera, because I'm not filming 24 hours a day. I'm filming like notes. I have bulleted items here, and I'm talking to you about some things, and I want to talk to you and portray the best that I can, and so would anybody else. With that in mind, I really don't have a great way to wrap up this topic except to ask you, like, how do you feel about listening to all of the productivity podcasters, YouTubers, people online? Like, I personally do find that it can be very helpful and a great tool and super motivational. And like, I need space to reflect and realize when that's harmful to me. As someone who posts and edits videos in similar parallel topics, I want to be cautious of when I am feeding into a negative message or something that could be perceived as negative, for someone to receive a message and feel that their life is just, rainbows and butterflies. If you stayed this long through all of these rambles, I really appreciate you, honestly. I know this is a little bit different for some of the recent things. It's kind of been spaghetti on the wall for me these days, but I appreciate you for being here. Thanks for listening. Please drop a comment down in the comments below and let me know how this resonated with you. And if not, maybe you are someone who really needs that push, whether it's tough love or someone who constantly shows up and proves that they are showing up online, pushing the envelope into productivity, and that makes you feel like you should also do better. Now, how does that make you feel? Does it make it feel negative or not? I want to hear, because right now I'm just struggling a little bit about where I fall on that spectrum, and then also how I want to land to others on that spectrum. Okay, so yep, enough rambling. Thank you again for listening and for the life updates, or all of it. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.